On a mission given to me by Woody Shaw, Sunship, Dizzy, and John Kahn, dedicated to pursuing a piece of our cultural heritage through interviews with my music heroes, this is The Jake Feinberg Show. Folks, welcome inside the Paris Sea Palace, high above 2919 East Broadway. This is The Jake Feinberg Show. Coming to you live on Power Talk. Please go to our website, powertalk.live, download our free app, and stream all of our live local shows, including Solomon on Blast and yours truly, The Jake Feinberg Show. We can't thank you enough for making us part of the program today because, let's face it, I get to interview the cats, the real cats. And last time I engaged my guest, he was in the midst of carnage. His studio was kind of falling apart at the seams. We had a really hot, quick kind of first set, ready to dig a little bit deeper. Stephen Ferrone, welcome back to the Jake Feinberg Show.
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing, my man?
I fixed my studio. It's working great now.
Hey, so great to talk to you, man. I remember talking to Chuck Rainey a while back, and after a while, when you have had a lot of success, you've carved out a niche for yourself in the studio with bands on the road. You've seen it all. You've done it all. Your ego comes into play, and you start having to what he referred to as manage your ego. And I just wanted you to talk to younger cats, more insecure, about a point in your life when, or at a time even now when you are still managing your ego, how you do it, how ultimately you come to peace with it, because just riff on that.
Well, I was at a memorial for a guy the other day, and they were talking about his career and about how it had only gone but so far, and it's funny because being a musician and being a studio musician is no matter how good you are, you're still in a place of service. You're still trying to make somebody happy, and even if they're doing something that's a little bit strange or something that you don't think that you wouldn't go about things that way, it's just really a question of managing how you say it, the attitude that you have when you say something, and B, just being prepared to accept that if they don't want to do it, they don't want to do it. They sign the front of the check and you sign the back.
That's right. Yeah. Right. No, I did. Can you talk about, I think you nailed, what is your attitude? How do you, because, for me, somebody comes at me sometimes. I mean, I'm not a musician, but, they're doing something weird and it's throwing me off. And I don't necessarily have what do you say? How do you take your attitude and infuse that into a situation where, you're not even affected by what this person's doing?
Well, I think the first thing to do is to try and understand what it is that they want. Maybe if they don't really have the experience of explaining how they want it done, or what it actually is that they're looking for. Is to try and get an understanding of what it is that they want, and then find a way to give it to them. For example, this is an example. I was doing a session once with a guy, and he wanted a fill going into a section, and so the take was good, but he just wanted a fill there at this spot, And so he said, could you play like, da-dum-dum-ba-dum-bum, like, that's okay. So I played da-dum-dum-da-dum-dum. Could you play da-da-da-da-da-da-da? It's not really what I would normally play, but that's it. So I played it, and then, no, that wasn't it. And he went backwards and forwards and naming all these fills, and I said, I tell you what I'm going to do. Let me give you a fill there. I got a fill, special fill, and I'm going to put it right in there for you.
Right.
So I played up to it. I did a pause. I did one backbeat and started back into the song again. Dun dun that's just bap boom. Solid downbeat, and he went berserk. That was fantastic. So we spent some time messing around. Spent a lot of time, wasted some time messing around trying to find this dang fill, and it was really quite simple. It was more of a feeling that he wanted than an actual fill, you know.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
I
mean, you happen to be very gifted. I mean, that's pretty cool to be able to, say, I know what you may think in your head, you know what you're looking for, but I think I got something in my bag. Not everybody has a deep bag like that, but I dig. I mean, what are the best qualities of leadership, Steve? And you have you been a leader of a band?
Oh yeah.
Can you tell me about what is the challenges? Okay, so you talk about in the studio, having to you're still there, you're being paid to make somebody's music sound better, but when you're a leader, what was the hardest transition for you to become a leader, and how?
Well,
go ahead.
I think this is the thing is you actually get an appreciation for what a leader goes through. I mean, it's like the number of times that you sit there and you work for somebody and they want to do something, you think, oh God, geez, well, I don't want to do that. Right. Okay, I'll just do it. I'll keep the guy and I'll go and do it. And then all of a sudden, when you're a leader, you find yourself that you are that asshole. Why is that asshole? Why does he want me to do that? And all of a sudden, you become the asshole because basically, when it comes down to it, is that the whole thing is on you, anyways.
Right.
Right. When you're the leader, it's your reputation, it's your thing, and you have these great musicians, and all you want them to do is to give you what you want because you have a concept for how you want it to be presented. And so yeah, it's hard to be a leader, and especially to be a good leader. You hire people because you know that they can play, but then every once in a while there'll be something that you'll want to get that you're not getting, and you have to ask them to do it.
Right. I mean, I interviewed John Mayall this week, and he was really restrained in the sense that it wasn't any more complicated. When he came to the States the second time and put together this jazz fusion group with Blue Mitchell and Freddie Robinson and Keith Hartley, very much out of the same vein as the auger groups or that kind of stuff. Yeah. And he just said, he goes, I get music in my head. I try to bring people in that I believe can help me make that music, and then we play it. But inevitably, it's like I just wonder sometimes about if you feel like the most important thing is for you as a leader, because like you said, you become the asshole, quote unquote. I mean that whatever that you just want to make it sound as good as possible. But
I turned around to some guys and said, I hear this note there, and they said, well, that note, that's not right. And I said, it might not be right, but that's what I want to hear.
Yeah, because it's my session, baby. I dig.
And then it's okay, well, we can make it work. Yeah, okay. So they make it work.
I love it.
Once it sounds the way that you want it to sound, then it's right. And I think that every leader of a band has that problem, and I can actually tell you that I became way more sympathetic to leaders after I had to do it once or twice, and it was like, I kind of understand what they have to go through, so it's it might not be right, but that's what they want.
Do you try to make it a point to bring in cats that, and you let them express their own individual sound.
Oh, absolutely.
You have to.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. But, also, if somebody's doing something that you don't like, it's, you can say, that's not really it. That's not what we want looking for. Can we try that a different way? And most guys, you just sort of, if you can just nudge them in the right direction, they sort of get it right away. Sometimes you can just turn around and say, I want that to sound. I remember once I was working with a keyboard player, and he was playing a certain thing in a certain way, and I said, do you think you sort of put make that more like Richard T sort of feel, and immediately he got it. He knew exactly what it was, and he just played it, and that was it. And it was just his interpretation. His first interpretation wasn't what I was looking for. So you can just sort of nudge somebody a certain way. The guys that I know, they can play pretty much anything.
One of the things I like to do on my program is to illuminate people all over the world about the careers of cats who, obviously, Stephen Ferrone has been a leader, prolific leader, but we have a game on this program called Name That Tune. I want to put this in for you for a second, and then we'll come back and break it down, okay?
Okay.
Ow, ooh, I fall down. 3, 5, 10, 12. Man, did the years roll by. 16, and things was cooking. About an automobile. I found me a real good deal with a rock and roll steering wheel. Ooh, time for me, Dad. Yeah. It was thrown down heavy in the front and on each side. With a gene like that, all the fine honeys would show enough dig a ride. With that dewdrop in, a dewdrop top, I could show enough kill at anybody's bop. Ooh, time for me, Dad.
Music on the Jake Feinberg Show, brought to you in part by the Jewish Federation of Southern Arizona, and we thank them for their support. All right, Mr. Ferrone, what do you got for us, brother?
I have no idea what that is.
This is why I do my show. That was, one of the first. I actually discovered this after the Oblivion Express. This is maybe your maiden voyage with Bloodstone, Riddle of the Sphinx. Name of that tune is "Sign for Me, Dad." I mean, what a funk fest that was. Dude. You better pull that album.
Me?
That's you, man. They were a soul outfit from the UK. Can you illuminate us on how you even connected with them originally?
Well, no. Well, actually, they're from here. Bloodstone was from here.
Oh, they are.
The producer, the same producer who did Freddie King's Burglar album, Mike Vernon, told me that he was working with this band Bloodstone, and I'd heard that they had a single, Natural High, that was pretty popular.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that he asked me to come over and play with them, and so I came over and did some recording with them, and then they started to work on this movie, Train Ride to Hollywood, I think it was called.
That's right. Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I came over and I worked on that with them, and it was a lot of fun because they were kind of unusual for what they were, for what they were known as, you know, which is a sort of stylistic sort of a band. You know, the Natural High was that big hit, but they were actually a self-contained band. They played their instruments, and they had these wonderful voices, you know, and so it was a little bit different as far as, you know, it wasn't four guys that sang and had a backing band. It was an actual band, and so it was a lot of fun working with them.
You know, I was going to ask you this: if you could talk about, I asked Dr. Lonnie Smith about, not Lonnie Liston Smith, but Dr. Lonnie Smith about the difference between a soul drummer and a jazz drummer. Can you talk about rhythmically how you, if you could talk about the differences in how you time your in how you time your beats and even how you just play rhythm, because like you said, what we just heard was more soul, more a funky tune. You listen to the Oblivion Express, and there's like, you know, you're doing freedom jazz dance and you're doing jazz, right. You know, so can you talk, I mean, I couldn't think of anybody better to ask about just splitting the hairs and talking about soul drummer versus jazz drummer.
Well, I don't think that there really is that much difference. I think there's just a difference in the style of the music that you're playing. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you look at Benny Benjamin, he was a bebop drummer.
That's right.
You know,
that's right.
Who played on I don't know, questionably one of the most recognizable soul drummers around.
What do you? Hold on. Do you know who he played with in the bebop? Like did he play with?
I just kind of read up that he used to play all of them. Jameson as well was an upright bass player.
That's right. Continue. It doesn't matter.
And they used to just play around the clubs in Detroit. You know,
I dig. Yeah. And there were plenty. There were cats like Yusef Lateef there, so they were playing bebop, but then they fit right into the Motown thing. So continue.
Absolutely. Well, you know, the other thing is that, you know, the other week I was with my friend Harvey Mason in Japan, and we were hanging out, and it's like, if you listen to Headhunters, it has an R&B. Harvey plays very lightly. He's a very light playing drummer. He's not, but he doesn't sound, when he records, he doesn't sound that way. You know, it sounds like there's an enormous backbeat. You know what I'm saying?
Oh no, I mean, I love this stuff. It's about generating sound without having to pound the drum kit.
Exactly. He has tongue, and Benny Benjamin was the same sort of deal. Now, if you look at Gadsden, he's more of a pure R&B drummer. You know,
right.
I guess another guy that would sort of go between the two would be Clyde Stubblefield. You know, right in between there's these guys that played bebop, that were bebop players that suddenly got put into this R&B sort of thing where their swing was apparent, but they had to play more of an R&B groove, and it translated really, really well. You know, so I don't really think. I think, it's funny because, like, you know, some people say, you know, do you play bebop? It's like, hell, I do. Yeah, I do. And I love to sit down and play bebop, but I never get asked. Very rarely get asked to do it. You know, I get, you know, rock or R&B. That's what people ask me to do. But I like to play bebop.
Oh, as a matter of fact, I want to see you. Yeah, go ahead. Go.
I go and play. There's a little coffee shop. I play with this coffee shop trio. At 8:00 in the morning, we play bebop out in Pasadena, in a little coffee shop in Pasadena. Every once in a while, they call me up and say, "Steve, you want to come and play?" And I just go out there and I go to like a little bass drum and a snare drum and a ride cymbal and sometimes a tom tom and we, you know, and a hi-hat. We play bebop.
I love it. I love it.
People stop in there on their way to work and they stop and they listen and they love the music and it's really cool, you know. And then some people, they see me and they say, what are you doing there? What are you doing there? You know, and it's like, I love playing that kind of music.
Did you have a chance to cross paths with Miles ever?
once. But I didn't. We played on the same track, but we didn't play together.
What track is that?
It's a song called "I'll Be Around," a Shaka Khan song called "I'll Be Around."
Wow. But he did his solo, and then you came in and did your drum.
He played after us, but there was this at the end of it. There's this groove. So, Dave Grusin was playing keyboards.
Sure.
It was a live session with Marcus Miller, and at the end of this thing, it was like, well, just play. So we started playing, and I started to play a couple of little things in this, and I played this one sort of fill, and then Miles came in afterwards and did his trumpet solo. And when I got when I heard the finished thing, the mix, when I got the mix, I was listening to it, and at the end there was this thing, and I played this little thing on the snare drum, a little fill, and Miles heard it and played a flurry right after it, and I'm like, dang, Miles Davis heard me.
That's right, he did hear you. Now, at this point, I just would like to talk to you. First of all, I need to come to one of those coffee shop bebop gigs. I would love to hang and grab some Eggs Benedict there. But what is still a challenge? We're all still growing in our own way, but I just want to talk to you on the bandstand. What is something that you still want to refine and work on in your bag?
Well, every once in a while they give me some big band stuff to play, and my reading is just not up in that area at all whatsoever. So I mean, I'd really like to sit down and play that a bit more, and make that a bit more comfortable for me to play. I mean, it's like I can get it, but it takes me a bit of work to sit there and play that stuff. Other guys can just sit down and look at it and read it and play it, and I'm just not that comfortable with doing that. Even though I enjoy playing that style of music a lot, there's other guys that are way better at it than I am. But I mean, when I've done it, I've done pretty well. But I'd like to be a little bit more comfortable with that. I have to do a little bit more and just sort of get my knowledge of that a little bit better.
Did I hear you correctly in saying you want being a better reader of music? Is that
I would. Yeah, I mean, I can't really say that. It's just that I have this problem is that I start listening to it a lot, right?
Right.
And I sort of play a lot of stuff with my eyes closed, And then I play with my eyes closed, and then I take my attention off of the chart, and then I miss something, And I play a lot of it on instinct. I would rather be able to look at it and feel comfortable looking at it and playing it, but it's kind of difficult for me to sort of feel the stuff and read it at the same time. If I could just sort of make that move a little bit smoother in that area,
I love it. I love the feel. And I love the organic nature of just keeping your eyes closed. And I think a lot of more people do that. And some cats can read flypaper, but it's like
exactly.
I don't know, man. I just in closing, we've got to do another part 3 at some point. But can you just talk about your relationship with Alex Litcherwood? I love you guys so much, and I just wanted you to talk about you guys are kind of basically from the same area. I mean, I just love your passion. I love how smart you guys are, and obviously just musicians, the fire. Can you just talk about Alex?
I was 17. I was 17 years old when I met Alex.
Wow.
I went to Italy. I went there for a week, and I ended up staying there for 3 years. And I met Alex and Robbie McIntosh, the drummer with AWB, the original drummer with AWB.
Absolutely.
They were playing in a band called The Senate, and I was playing with a band called Mouse and the Traps when I first went to Italy, and then I stayed there and worked with a guy named Ronnie Jones, who's he still lives there in Italy. He's in his 70s now, and we're still in touch. He's a great guy, a great singer, and we used to stay in the same pensione. I remember I spent my 18th birthday with Alex and Robbie in the Colosseum with loads of cats, about watching the sun come up, drink with a couple of big bottles of cheap Chianti, drinking and celebrating my birthday. So, Alex is one of my oldest friends as far as being playing. I mean, I followed Robbie through bands. I followed him through the Piranhas and then into Brian Auger's band, and then finally, after he passed away, into Average White Band. But and through all that, I've known Alex for years, and he has an incredible instrument. His voice is an incredible instrument. It's ageless. He pretty much sings everything in the same key as what he did years ago, and he still, I don't know how he does it, since he smokes cigarettes and drinks.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think some people it just never phases them. I don't understand how that happens either, But yeah, he has
an amazing strength in his voice, just an amazing strength in his talent. He's just a great guy, yeah. And I get to play with. I still get to play with him with David Garfield and the Cats quite a bit. We play together quite a bit here in Los Angeles. If he's in town, or we're both in town, David calls us up and puts in a gig, and it's always fun to play with him. He's always been as with Brian Auger, there's a certain attitude with those guys that they just love to play, and in their love of playing is you get to love playing with them.
Well, we love Stephen Ferrone on the Jake Feinberg Show, and it's so great to connect with you, man. And we'll do a set 3 around the holidays, and just keep cooking on this.
Absolutely, and if I do my coffee shop trio gig, I'll drop you an email and I'll let you know that's happening.
Dude, I'll fly out on my private jet. Yeah, right. No, love always, man. All right, keep swinging, man.
I see if I can get somebody to do a little film of it, and then I send it to you. Thanks for that Bloodstone. That was a trip. I was sitting there saying, "Dang, that's
I'm gonna throw. Yeah, you're all over that album, man. It's nasty. Yeah, I'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. Thanks, Jake.
Later, Stephen.
Bye-bye.
Yeah.
And vote.
Don't
forget to vote.
Don't forget to vote. That's right. That's right. Cheers.
I did mine already, so take it easy.
All right. And we'll be right back with Geraldine Brandelius on the Jake Feinberg Show.